I was lucky enough to get an early screening for the new horror indie film, We Bury the Dead, coming out Friday, December 2nd. If you haven't already, again, hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. We have new film content uploaded weekly, including movie reviews, film essays, and so much more. So again, hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. Zach Hilditch's latest film, We Bury the Dead, creates a new subgenre of zombie film, focusing less on the premise of the dead and more on the living. The approach in which Hilditch takes on the film is similar to what we've seen before, borrowing heavily from iconic work that has come before, like The Walking Dead and Dawn of the Dead. Well, the one thing that truly separates this film from anything we've seen before, thus far, is the fact that it's not a zombie apocalypse. It's merely an isolated event that is the fallout of a military operation gone wrong. There is no sense of outbreak and no reason to believe that the virus will spread and infect others. I think We Bury the Dead might just be the first character-driven zombie horror film, dare I say, an elevated zombie film. For nothing about this film feels like a traditional zombie movie. The film does take George A. Romero's basic premise of zombie movies and follows the number one rule that is, in all of his films, or all of his zombie films, I should say, that the zombies are never the bad guys or the antagonists. The people are. The zombies merely exist. Which is the same premise here, which really adds to the film's depth and layers of it being a character-driven drama, where on this isolated island, some of the dead don't stay dead. Furthermore, not all of the undead are unhinged. The film takes a bold approach to change the way in which we not only see zombies, but what zombies are, giving them not only the ability to move at higher speeds like in World War Z, but also to give them a consciousness of some sort. Up until this point, zombies have always been mindless creatures acting on basic instinct to feed and survive. And for whatever reason, their instinct has always been to feed on humans, as their first choice, of course. As in We Bury the Dead, we are offered an alternative to what folklore and movies have told us about the undead. We witness both the destructive and mindless undead, wanting nothing more than to give into primal instinct, and we also see undead for that some reason still have a heart and somewhat of a conscience. The film explores the idea that not all zombies are the same, that some still have their humanity and their sense of being, which goes hand in hand with the humans in the film, offering the idea that some have the ability and purity that the disease can't completely eradicate, while others are only as pure-hearted as society forces them to be. Offering a unique perspective on not only the zombie genre, but humans in general. I remember reading this article on a study they did once that talked about the popularity in zombie movies and TV shows, which was a direct link to how society was at that time. People often gravitate towards zombie movies more when society is chaotic and there is tension among the people, a discord, if you will, in society. Although with We Bury the Dead, there feels to be more focus on the emotional connection and lack thereof between people and their significant others, rather than the world around them, offering an even more obscure insight into the genre. For every character we really interact with, their actions are a direct correspondence of their significant other, where the situation is a positive or a negative, offset due to the relationship they share with their person, truly elevating the film to another level. From a technical perspective, the film is sound and on point. The shots are crisp and well executed, something we normally wouldn't see in a typical horror film, especially one about the undead. Offering some beautiful shots using lighting in a way to not only convey emotion, but to set a tone and elevate the overall experience of the film, making it very clear this is not your typical horror film. I love the way they light the scenes in which they're indoors without power or a traditional sense of lighting. At no point do they try to force external unrealistic lighting into the shot. They capture the shot with the loud lighting, adding a sense of depth to the scene, which might sound minuscule, but it's very enlightening, if you will. Accompanied by a score that stands out for being pitch perfect, offering an emotional guidance to the film's story without being overly dramatic or intense, giving off just the right amount of nuance to be recognized and appreciated, but not standing out for negative reasons. First, the pacing feels slow if you're expecting a Romero-style zombie film. It wasn't until about halfway through did I truly understand what I had been watching, which is a character-driven drama with a backdrop of the undead, which plays into a larger part of the story, weaving everything together damn near perfectly. Offering us an elevated zombie film, one that goes above and beyond the traditional tale of a zombie apocalypse, focusing on the characters who would drive them into the lion's den, so to speak, rather than just another film in which we watch as people try to escape it. Overall, the film is not what I expected it to be. However, that's not a negative at all. I really enjoyed this film, and I think it elevated the genre of horror movies, or especially zombie films. Taking what worked with The Walking Dead, where the focus was less on the zombies and people running for their lives, and more so on creating great characters and making the zombies the backdrop, which this film does brilliantly. We Bury the Dead takes a popular concept such as zombies and expands on that, creating something we never seen before, a character-driven story at the center of a zombie movie. Which, without question, is an achievement within itself. Not only making the film, but just pulling it off at this level. So for my rating, I'm going to have to give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. And for our traditional rating sense, we're going to give this one a full price, because if you go in knowing what to expect, I don't see anybody not liking this movie. Are you going to check out We Bury the Dead? Comment below. Let me know.